Xbox On. Welcome to Xbox On, a podcast with one host about one console, Xbox. I'm said host Jesse DeRosa, and on today's episode, we'll be talking about the latest Xbox news for the week of October 17th, 2024, including there's a new head of Xbox Game Studios in town. You'll soon be able to stream your purchased Xbox games to your Android device. You'll also soon be able to buy Xbox games straight from your phone. All that and more. This week in Xbox history, in the year 2018, 6 years ago, Starlink Battle for Atlas was released for the Xbox One. I remember this game very, very well. This was, for those who don't remember, this was Ubisoft's attempt at a Toys to Life game, and what was so weird about this game was it was so late to the party. The Toys to Life genre, of course, popularized mostly, most people know by this Skylanders game, the Activision Toys for Bob developed Skylander series, the Spyro spin-off games that were like those, brawler kiddie games where you buy little action figures and you put them on the platform and then they come to life in the game. That series started in, I want to say 2011, 2012, I think it was 2012. And that series was really popular for a while. It had, the annual cycle with Activision, of course, it had to be annualized. And that series was really popular. Then Disney hopped on board with Disney Infinity in 2013, and that game was really popular for a couple of years. And then towards the end of it, WB and Lego jumped in, and they did that Lego Dimensions game that was like, it was kind of a little late to the party, but it was like there towards the end of the wave, and kind of made a little bit of a splash, and then fizzled out pretty quick. But by 2016, Disney was out. They shut down their studio, they were out of gaming altogether, and Disney Infinity ended, and I think Skylanders held on. I think until 2018, 2019, there may have been a 20... Was there? No, not 2020. There was like a 2018 or 2019 was like the last Skylanders game. And even like in that last year or two of Skylanders, you could feel the genre was dying. But Ubisoft were like, no, I think we'll try our hands at these Toys to Life games, but we'll do it like way too late. We'll do it like when everyone else is already dead and gone. So I don't know. It's like trying to make it's like if 2K was like, hey guys, we got an idea called Rockstar Player. It's a new video game where you get a controller that looks like a guitar, and you can play to your favorite rock songs on this note highway. It's a video game. It's a rhythm-based game, and you got Limp Bizkit, you got Led Zeppelin, you got Lenny Kravitz, only artists with L, that start with L, and you play these rock songs on this plastic guitar, and it's like, what the fuck you doing, 2K? We been there. We did that. EA and Activision already fucked the hell out of the millennials with that shit in 2007. What are you doing? It's like, come on, man. And it was really unfortunate because Starlink Battle for Atlas is actually a fucking awesome game. So it was, really, really unfortunate. Kind of like open world ship combat game. Really, there's no game like it because you could play the game without the toys altogether if you didn't want to participate. You could buy a digital only version of the game, which is what I did. And it was awesome. The whole game you played in your ship, and you could just fly seamlessly from planet to planet. But unlike games like No Man's Sky, there's only a select number of planets, and all of them were meticulously crafted. So it was like, okay, here are 10 planets to explore instead of 10 million, and they all have specific level design to them because they all play into the story, and you have to craft these different planets as levels essentially. But you could seamlessly be on a planet's surface, flying around doing your thing, and then look up to the sky and fly off out of orbit into the into outer space, and then just pick your next planet to fly to. It was really seamless, really fun to play. Combat was really cool. Sorry, what the hell is this? It was a really unique game, and nothing like it. You couldn't get out of your ship. It was weird. Like when you were on a planet, you would fly low to the ground, and then you'd have kind of like Star Fox. It was very Star Fox Assault like when you were on ground. It was actually a very heavily Star Fox inspired, which is why if you played the game on Nintendo Switch, they had all that Star Fox DLC. But Yeah, I'm clearly very Star Fox Assault and Star Fox 64 inspired, but open world Ubisoft checkbox style. And I don't know, I'm not doing it justice by trying to keep it brief here, but needless to say, if you're one of the very few people that actually played Starlink Battle for Atlas, that game was fucking awesome. And thanks to the fact that they gave you the option of not playing with the toys to life, if you didn't want to buy the physical toys and connect them to the game that way, you could just buy a more expensive digital version of the game that just had digital versions of all the toys in there. And if you play that version, which is regularly on sale for like $10-15 on Xbox, you know that it was a great game. It's a really fun time. So I like that game. Had good music, fun little AA kind of feel. Not too polished, not too AAA. Wasn't them trying to be like the next Assassin's Creed or anything like that. It's just a fun game that knew what it was. It was definitely aimed at like the E10 type crowd, and it's just cool, generic sci-fi spaceship stuff. I loved it. I don't know. Starlink Battle for Atlas, rest in peace. I like Ubisoft. They do cool stuff from now and then, every now and then. All right, guys, welcome to the Xbox On podcast. It's one of those weeks. We're going to have to keep the pace fucking flowing because it's already 8 o'clock at night. I'm just now getting around to the podcast. So, my God, I'm running like 4 hours of sleep every night right now. But it's good because girlfriend's traveling right now. She's back home. She's back home in the Atlanta, Georgia. My boss at work, I have a new boss as of a couple months ago, and he asked me recently, he's like, "Oh, where's home for you guys?" I was like, "Oh, we're from like the greater Atlanta area." He goes, "Atlanta, home of the players." I was like, Is that how they like know? Is that like, outside of Georgia, is that how people think of like white suburban guys from like the greater Atlanta area, like the home of the yeah, fuck yeah, dude. If you could see me, if you could fucking home of the players, are you kidding me? If by players you mean Xbox gamers with fucking 15-year-old Xbox Live accounts and over 90,000 gamer score, then yeah, fucking home of the player. Anyway, it is the home of the Braves. Like when the national anthem, when it's like, sorry to all the non-American listeners out there. Well, actually, sorry to everyone, including the American listeners, because the Star Spangled Banners in the national anthem and the Pledge of Allegiance, and what am I even trying to say? It's all cringe. But I don't even know how we got here. In the Star Spangled Banner, how it ends with, "For the land of the free and the home of the brave." First time I think I ever like really thought about those lyrics was growing up going to Atlanta Braves games. I was like, it's kind of crazy that like the Atlanta Braves are, like this song is like all about. I didn't think that the song was about the Braves, but I thought I was like, oh man, like the Atlanta Braves are probably named after the song. It's weird. Like they play this song that's about the baseball team, and then you watch the baseball, and then like some lady gets on the field and sings in the home of the brave, and everyone puts their hat over their heart, or else you're a fucking communist if you don't, or whatever, because there's a veteran next to you, he's eyeing you. And I don't even know what I'm talking about. Shout out to Georgia. All right, let's get into it, guys. New game releases of the week. We're in the thick of the fall release schedule, but this is kind of a lighter week. I think something that's kind of notable here, it's not like a big release, but, it's kind of cool for people into the indie space and the retro, not indie space, the retro space. So Retro Realms, Halloween, and Ash vs. Evil Dead, these are out now. These are those 16-bit, retro, like, recreations of Evil Dead and Halloween, like Michael Myers, the guy with the knife that stabs people for fun. And, yeah, I know these are, like, cool games that are ideal for Halloween, and I have nothing to say about them. I just know that these are like, when these were announced, people are like, oh, that's really cool, these look really cool, I might play these. So those are out. If you want to God, I really sold it. If you're interested in some 16-bit retro platformer horror game that is just in time for Halloween. Teenage Mutant Ninja, speaking of retro, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutants Unleashed, this one's out now. Don't have anything to say about that, but there you go. A new actually, I remember this was announced, but I don't remember a fucking thing about it, to be honest. And then lastly, Hot Wheels Monster Trucks Stunt Mayhem. Now, this is the upcoming Hot Wheels game, or no, not Hot Wheels game. This is the upcoming Monster Truck game that isn't cool. The other one was that Monster Jam game made by the guys that make Hot Wheels Unleashed that just came out. That game looks awesome. This game is another Game Mill junkie licensed nonsense game about the Hot Wheels monster trucks that looks really, really, really rough. I've seen a couple of trailers for this game. It looks like shit. It looks and runs like shit. But you know me. If Hot Wheels monster truck video game, $40. This stuff is so tempting to me. I don't know what it is. I don't know. It's like I don't know, man. listen, it could be worse. I could have like an alcohol addiction. I could be into like some really unsavory, dark shit, dark seedy shit. I could be into some. Listen, I'm an open book. I promise you. I got no secrets. I got no skeletons in the closet. I put all my weird shit out on the table. What are some of my weirdest things? I just see these shitty licensed like toy brands and movie games and things like that, and it gets the little boy inside me all tingling. I'm like, oh man, there's a Hot Wheels monster truck game. God damn, why can't I be normal and just want to play? I don't know, what's a game people actually give a shit about? Why, like, you couldn't pay me to give a flying fuck about Metaphor ReFantazio. I know that game's getting incredible scores. It just sold like 1 million copies in its first day. Everyone who's anyone in the gaming space is like, Metaphor ReFantazio. Atlas has done it again. You couldn't pay me to give a shit. I don't give a flying fuck about Metaphor ReFantazio. But because we're all psychologically disturbed in some way or another, I look at games like Game Mill Entertainment's Hot Wheels Monster Truck Stunt Mayhem trademark, and I go, fuck, why do I feel so compelled as a 30-year-old man to spend $40 on this shit? Why? And you know it's going to be $12 come Christmas sales. Like, this game's not going to sell. This game's going to get enough unsuspecting 8-year-olds gift cards to justify its existence. And then there's going to be some fucking dumbass like me who didn't properly grow up, because when I was 12 years old, the boys around me were like, I don't care about baseball cards anymore. I care about Sally Sue because she's got boobies now. And my brain didn't develop that way. I went, I'm 12 years old, and yeah, I'm maturing because I like punk rock music, but really, I just want to go home and play Hot Wheels Monster Truck because I'm fucking touched in the head, okay? So, play your Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles if you're a man-child. Play your Retro Realms Halloween if you're a weird man-child who likes stabbing. But if you're a real, normal person with a big brain and an even bigger you-know-what, you're probably going to go home and play Hot Wheels Monster Trucks Stunt Mayhem, a Game Mill Entertainment original. That's what they should do when you boot it up. They should say that, just like Ubisoft does when you boot up every fucking Assassin's Creed game. Anyway, guys, let's get into the mildly amusing stories, because this podcast is already unhinged, and we got a lot here, actually. There's a lot of news. It's a good news week. I'll be honest, it's definitely one of those news weeks where, like, there's a lot of really important things to talk about, and it's like stuff I'm not really qualified to speak on. It's like, oh yeah, it's like business and stuff, happenings. But yeah, you know, it's more like that behind the scenes shit. Like, as a result of this lawsuit, this happened. It's like, that kind of thing. But there's still a lot of good stuff to talk about. Let's get into it. Start off with one that's kind of more of an announcement. Xbox is going to be hosting a partner preview event a week from... No, what am I saying a week from? The day this podcast goes live, this Thursday. So we will talk about this on next week's podcast. So by the time we touch on this news, it will be incredibly dated and old and no one will remember it. It's going to be streamed on YouTube and all that at like 1 p.m. Eastern time on Thursday, the 17th of October. So again, by the time you're listening to this, you've probably already seen these announcements. It's just going to be, I'm not really worried about it. They even say here, they say, quote, during the partner preview, you'll get a look at first gameplay for Alan Wake 2's next expansion, for Yakuza Like a Dragon Pirate in Hawaii. It's just fluff. I don't know why they're doing this. It's a 25-minute stream, and they're just going to talk about games that have already been announced, DLC, and things like that from partners. It's kind of just a way of saying, like, hey, as we ramp up into the busy season, just remember, Xbox is a brand that exists, and we have partners that are stupid enough to work with us. Hey, go buy our games on PlayStation, you know? So I don't know. I have no expectations for this. I hope I'm wrong, and they're like, by the way, when you're not playing the DLC for Alan Wake 2, here's the fucking release date for Fable. I doubt that's going to happen, but I guess anything's possible. Don't hold your breath. It's the partner preview, by the way. Don't expect first-party stuff. So that's happening. Also, I just want to put out there that the new Xbox Series X, the new Xbox consoles are out, I should say. So it's the 2 terabyte Galaxy Black one. It's that Series X that has like all the green sparkles on it. That's really cool and comes with a fun controller. That's 2 terabytes. That's out. The all digital 1 terabyte white Xbox Series X, that's now out. And then the Xbox Series S that comes with 1 terabyte in white, if you don't want the black one, that's also now out. So, and the S is going for $350 US. The X1 terabyte all digital is going for $450, and for $600 you can get that 2 terabyte all digital sexy Galaxy Black Xbox Series X with all the green little specks of galaxy dust or whatever the fuck they're calling it. These look cool. It's it's something. Hey, they're getting a PS5 Pro over on PlayStation. Well, they put fucking green powder, green cocaine all over our Xbox Series X and upped the storage. So fuck you, PlayStation Pro. I don't know. I think this thing looks cool. But I just wanted to mention that. And then I guess one more like hardware thing worth mentioning. Today they announced Black Ops 6 console wraps and controllers that you can build at the Xbox Design Labs website. They're expensive as hell. Just the regular Xbox controller with the Black Ops 6 wrap on it, $100. Fucking ridiculous. But they look cool as hell. I'm very tempted to buy the standard controller, but I'm not going to. But I'm tempted to. But I won't. But I should. But I want to. And so those are out there too if you want to go to the Xbox Design Lab. Kind of like how they did that Fallout one a few months back. Now we got one for Black Ops 6. So probably see this continue to be a trend whenever big games release from Xbox first party, I guess, if you want to call Call of Duty first party game, because it technically is, but it doesn't make sense to say that, but it's true. And with that said, guys, let's get into our first news story. So this is actually a big one. This would actually be one of the main news stories. It's just, again, this is a prime example of I don't have much to say on it. I'm just not smart enough. I'm not studied enough to know these things. But Rare Xbox boss, I mean Rare like the game studio, like Sea of Thieves guys. Rare boss Craig Duncan has been promoted to the head of Xbox Game Studios. Duncan, who's led Rare for 14 years, will replace Alan Hartman, who you might remember only last year was promoted to Xbox Game Studios head after his time at Forza, working at studio head of Turn 10. According to GamesIndustry.biz, Hartman will retire from Microsoft at the end of November and will be replaced by Duncan. So he's retiring altogether from the company. Duncan joined Rare during the Kinect era and oversaw the launch of the live service hit Sea of Thieves. Before that, he held roles at Sumo Digital, Midway, and Codemasters. His new role will be to oversee Xbox teams, including, but not limited to, Halo Studios, The Coalition, Turn 10, Playground Games, Rare, Obsidian, Ninja Theory, Compulsion Games, The Initiative, Double Fine, and Exile, Undead Labs, World's Edge, and more. Following Duncan's departure, Rare will be led by Joe Neate and Tim Hoff. Neate joined Rare in 2013 after similar stints at Midway and Sumo, and has led the Sea of Thieves project as executive producer. Horth, a 20-year Rare veteran, was most recently studio director. Quote, Alan's career has been marked by innovation, dedication, and an unwavering passion for gaming. Xbox president of gaming content Matt Booty said in an email to staff. Starting as a contractor for Microsoft in the fledgling the CD-ROM group in 1988, Alan has worked on a variety of projects in his time here, from Age of Empires to Brute Force as the studio head of Digital Anvil and the founding of Turn 10. Over the years, Alan, Turn 10, and Playground Games have delivered 13 Forza Motorsport and Horizon games, building Forza into the top racing franchise in the world and regularly pushing the capabilities of the hardware. His work to advance accessibility in gaming has set a benchmark for the industry, and under his leadership, Xbox Game Studios has shipped multiple critically acclaimed titles this year and set the stage for highly anticipated games like Avowed, South of Midnight, Fable, and more. Booty then added, in his new role, Craig will continue to focus on helping their studios deliver high-quality, differentiated game experiences that can grow into successful franchises and reach more players by investing in new IP. So, I don't think it's weird to take, your top studio guys and make them, it's like assistant manager. Well, where do you go after being an assistant manager? You'd be like the manager, the store manager, the whatever kind of manager, the next guy in charge, the manager, right? I feel like that's kind of a natural evolution. It's like, where do you go after you're the head of one of the prominent game studios within a division? It's like you're the head of Insomniac, you're the head of Naughty Dog. Where do you go? It's like maybe you're the head of PlayStation. PlayStation actually has a similar trajectory. The guy who was the head of Guerrilla Games got promoted to the head of PlayStation. So it's not really uncommon to see these kinds of things. It seems like a natural progression, right? Alan Hartman, after years and years of successfully leading the Forza team, he got to be the head of Xbox Game Studios. Now he's gone. It's like, all right, well, look at our first party studios who've been here for a while. Who's been really, really successful? Oh, the guys that do Sea of Thieves. That game's been a huge success Rare's been pretty successful in the past 5 to 8 years. I guess they were technically successful in the Kinect years because their games were like the only games that sold, but maybe because some of them were pack-ins. I don't know. Let's not get into it. Yeah, the successful guy, right? So let's put him to the top. Well, you're not going to put someone from Halo Studios at the top because Halo Studios is a joke. There's a whole new staff every 25 seconds because they're too busy betraying the last game they tried to make. So there's no one to pick from there. Well, who are you going to pick from the Coalition? Well, there is a guy at the Coalition who is definitely the head of the team and definitely the guy for this job, head of Xbox Game Studios. Absolutely. His name is Rod Ferguson. Oh, wait, he left to go work at Blizzard, so he's gone. So you kind of like go through the portfolio, you go down the list, and it's like, well, who's really good fit? And that's not to diminish Craig Duncan and say he's not well qualified or he shouldn't be the first pick. It just means it's like you can kind of track that logic to be like, okay, that kind of makes sense why you would maybe shepherd someone like this for that role. So, this is Matt Booty's former job before, Xbox got all those arbitrary promotions after the Activision merger. And, when Satya Nadella was like, oh, now we actually give a shit about Xbox. And Phil Spencer's not the head of Xbox. He's the CEO of Gaming, LLC, whatever the fuck his name is. So it's following those promotions, that's when Matt Booty got out of head of Xbox Game Studios into his new, whatever the fuck they call him, the president of butt sucking. No, Xbox is president of game content and studios. So he's like the big boss over the Xbox Game Studios boss, which is kind of laughable because I feel like Xbox's first party lineup didn't really flourish under Matt Booty's leadership, but he still got promoted anyway. So that's cool. But I can understand, again, the track of how they end up with a guy like a Craig Duncan being the next in line. Now, the bigger story here really isn't Craig Duncan being promoted to this position, but really Alan Hartman leaving, because the dude's only been in this position for a year, and now he's retiring from Xbox altogether, from Microsoft altogether. So I don't know, man. I just feel like you don't go to that large and that important of a role just to be there for a year and then retire from the company altogether. Like that is a role you grow into because you're either going to stay here for a lot longer than you've already been here, or because you're going to climb even higher up the ladder beyond this role eventually. So to only make it a year into this role and then bounce kind of begs the question, did he not like what he was seeing? Was he not enjoying his job? Did he feel like he was kind of like handicapped at his work and wasn't able to do what he wanted to do because of the checks and balances and the process around, this work? Some people get higher up the ladder and they end up not liking it because they realize like, hey, I liked being a little lower rung on the totem pole because it's scrappier. You get to kind of focus on the in the trenches kind of product we're making and the thing we're delivering to the customer, and not so much the process of managing the people who do the creative work. And so maybe it was just that he realized, hey, this is a bad career fit for me and I want to get the fuck out of here. So that's possible entirely. But if you're the head of a game studio and then you get promoted to the head of the studios, the guy who overlooks the studios, chances are you stay in a role like that unless something's wrong. And I just feel like this guy got into this role and said, something's fucking wrong here and I got to get out. And that is why, or maybe Xbox said, you're not working, we got to get you out. And he's having some kind of like, he's kind of being shooed out the building, right? And, he's leaving on good terms with the people. So they're like, we'll save face. We'll say you're retiring from the company. But maybe they're saying Alan Hartman was not the guy for the job. And so we're going to give Craig Duncan his job. And we're going to, save face by saying, dude's retiring from the company. It could be any number of these things. But it's interesting to find out what could he have done wrong to have caused that? Or what could he have seen to have wanted to leave, And usually the fact that, the only other thing we can glean on from this is that we're not getting some big goodbye statement from Alan Hartman. We're getting some kind words from Matt Booty. So usually what that means, would probably indicate that it's more of like a Matt Booty in the leadership at Xbox said, all right, you're out of here, but if you just fucking go and you don't make a stink about it, we'll say nice things about you on your way out the door. Because otherwise you would expect that maybe he would say some things. Maybe he'd be like, I'm so grateful for my time here. I whatever, So, so it seems like this guy maybe getting pushed out, maybe not liking what he's seeing and wanting to get out. Definitely something to keep an eye on. Something's not right. He was here for such a short period of time that we didn't really get to observe enough to kind of pass any judgment or draw any, connect any dots and say, I wonder if this has to do with this or if he's at fault for this, because Well, really, all that's happened in the time he's gotten here is that, Hellblade 2, which was already well along in development, came out and didn't do shit. And, and that's, that's it. We got a Black Ops beta, kind of. It's like, so there's not a whole lot to really go off of. But I guess technically in the past year, he's been overseeing these teams that are teeing up games for next year, like Avowed and Fable. But these are projects that have been in development for so long that it's like you can't really say like the success or failure or the time at which these games come out and hit market and all that stuff. You can't really pin any of these successes or failures on Alan Hartman because these projects were already so far along the way when he came into power, and they still weren't out by the time he was out of power. So it's just like there's not a whole lot to observe and therefore information to glean on from this news. But in any case, you wish all the best, and hopefully, things are good. Everyone's living on good terms. Hopefully. All right, guys, let's move on to some Halo talk. So Certain Affinity was working on a game that could have changed the Battle Royale genre and Halo Infinite for good, according to the studio's former design director, Mike Klopper. The prolific support studio, Certain Infinity, which is based in Austin, Texas, has collaborated on installments in the Halo and Call of Duty franchises since 2007, as well as shooters like Left 4 Dead and Doom. I mean, Certain Infinity is like, they're like secretly like the best team ever, right? They're working on all the best shooters. Halo, Call of Duty in the heyday, Left 4 Dead, Doom. I mean, like these guys got their hands on the best games. The team worked with Xbox Studios previously known as 343 Industries, on Halo Infinite for several years, during which it was reported but never confirmed to have been developed by a Battle Royale mode, which Jez Core and Windows Central, those guys, had been reporting on for years. But Klopper, who this month joined Call of Duty studio Raven Software as a design director, has now mentioned the unannounced Halo Battle Royale mode in his LinkedIn profile, where he said, I quote, "Led a large team of designers working on canceled Battle Royale mode for Halo. I believe this product could have been a game changer for the franchise. We loved playing it and working on it. It was a fantastic experience in spite of its cancellation." So, I mean, it's pretty safe to assume the reason Halo Infinite's Battle Royale mode got canceled was the same reason Halo 5's Battle Royale mode got canceled, which is that this game's kind of already dead. We're not going to be able to bring it back. So rather than like bring out the big guns for this game, let's maybe save it for the next time. That is my guess. That's not a fact. That's just my guess, because there was a Halo 5 Battle Royale mode that really prolific leakers and rumors and people have alluded to over the years that never came out. Apparently it was ready to be shown one E3, and then they pulled the plug on it like last second. So this is a thing that just keeps happening with Halo. Maybe when we get that Halo 1 From the Ground remake, we'll get a Battle Royale mode to go with it just in time to satiate the needs and the wants of all the PlayStation fans, since that's what Xbox is here in service of, isn't it? So I don't know. This is just sad. I mean, it's just more confirmation that, yes, this mode existed. And obviously this guy's only bringing attention to it to say like, hey, career experience, resume experience, hire me, so that's how we're finding out about it. But this was one of those, it was all but confirmed kind of things. And now it's, confirmed by a guy who's working on it. So, of course, disheartening. We all wanted to see this happen, or, many of us wanted to see this happen because we wanted to obviously see Halo Infinite find its footing and be successful and find a new audience and expand and become what we thought it was going to be for a little bit there when it first came out, but then quickly turned out to not be, which is evident in, how things played out in the weeks following the game's release. But too bad, so sad, maybe on the next Halo. And next up, this one's for me, but it's a nice little wrap up before we get into the real news. VGC reports that Bithell Games, the British studio behind Thomas Was Alone and John Wick Hex, has announced a new game in the Tron universe. Disney Tron Catalyst is a story-driven isometric action game coming to PC, Xbox Series S and X via Devolver Digital's Big Fan Games publishing label. Set for release next year, it will continue the story of the Arc Grid, which was first introduced in Bithell's visual novel adventure released last year, Tron Identity, but that was only on Nintendo Switch and PC. So this game will actually be on Xbox, and they say, quote, "In Disney Tron Catalyst, players are introduced to EXO, a highly resilient and resourceful program with incredible abilities to initiate time loops," reads the official description. With the newfound powers, EXO takes over the overlords of the crumbling grid, all while evading Khan, a malevolent agent of Core. EXO must gain control over the mysterious abilities and uncover the unexplained glitch that threatens the grid. as players will battle on foot and on light cycle to complete missions and gain crucial insights that will help them on their quest. While learning from their mistakes, XO will also need to navigate warring factions to unlock new paths and uncover secrets of the Arc Grid. Bithell previously announced that they're working on new Tron games to coincide with Tron Identity's release in 2023. So, this is the next Tron outing from Bithell Games. This one's really exciting because the first one was just a narrative-driven PC game. I played a little bit of it and then fell off and needed to get back to it. Just never did. So I need to do that. I want to do that in anticipation for this, but goddamn, there's no time to play games. But, oh man, this game looks great. People keep saying, because there's already some previews for it, that it's like something in between like a Metroidvania meets like Hades, but Tron version. I'm like, hey, that's how you'll get me into these kinds of games. That's how you'll fucking do it, dude. Isometric Tron action game. Kind of like Hades, kind of like a Metroid game, whatever, dude. I mean, look up the gameplay. This thing looks fucking stunning. Listen, you don't have to be a Tron fan. I know there are a lot of people that don't like Tron, whatever. If you don't like the way Tron looks and sounds, you are so dumb. You're so stupid, you idiot. That's just a fact, man. I mean, I love Tron so much, man. It's just such a visually satisfying thing to look at, everything about it. So this stuff always gets me hyped. I just love Tron shit. I want more Tron shit. I'm a little hesitant about the Tron shit we're getting next year with that new movie that they're just making the wrong decisions, it seems like, with it, but we'll see. I'll try to reserve my judgment until I've seen the film. But, you know, aside from that, it's been really exciting as a Tron fan to just get Tron shit, you know? It's one of those IP where it's like, I know I love it. I know most people don't give a shit about it. I know it's iconic for the way it looks, but no one really gives a shit about it beyond that. It's very superficial in the way that like the public knows of Tron. And so for me, as a genuine fan of these movies, not because I love Disney or because of any of that shit, just because I genuinely just love Tron. It's one of my favorite sci-fi things ever. This just brings me so much happiness. We got new games on the way. We got a new game last year. We got a fucking roller coaster of Tron 15 minutes down the road at Magic Kingdom. Dude, life is good for Tron fans. And also, like, can I just say as a side note, what the fuck's going on with Magic Kingdom suddenly becoming a good theme park? You know, we got Tron on one side, we're getting Cars on the other side. You bitches want to talk about how Disneyland's the better park? Does Disneyland have a Cars ride in the park? Not talking about California Adventure, shut up. Does Disneyland have a Cars ride? Nope. Does Disneyland have a Tron roller coaster? Nope. Oh, but Jesse, it has the original pirates, the Haunted Mansion. Shut up. The original castle, Shut up. Shut up. I'm talking about a Tron roller coaster. I'm talking about a Tron video game coming to Xbox Series X and S, possibly even smart delivery. Are you kidding me? We're eating good, boys. It's good. It's good time to be a Tron fan. We're getting a new movie. Listen, yeah, Jared Leto's in the movie. He's the main actor. Who gives a shit? We're getting a new Tron movie. Let's just be grateful, okay? Can we get a season 2 of that Disney XD show? Because Tron Uprising was really good. All right, so that one's just for me because I'm excited. But that's it for all of our opening news stories. You guys, we're getting into the main news, but first we're going to talk about the games I've been playing. But before I can tell you about the games I've been playing, I got to tell you about what it is I've been eating. Now, I got a quick one, but a good one for you. Picture this, Friday night, I tell my girl, oh, we're going to go out to eat. So we don't like really... I don't know. We don't go out to eat too much. We try to eat at home as much as we can. And we've been like really good this year about like being the most fucking Amish people we can be. Like we just go nowhere and do nothing essentially. So about 3 miles down the road from us, there's like this strip where there's a lot of like chain restaurants. We live in a very suburban area, lots of chain restaurants. And we've been slowly like ticking them off the list. Like these are places like you would eat with your parents when you were like 9 years old. And then by the time you're 18, you're like, ew, I don't want to go to Red Robin. I want to go try that new pho restaurant with my friends because I have a tattoo, you know, like that kind of shit. So I don't know. I'm getting in touch with my suburban roots, my town of the players, you know, my Atlanta roots. And we're trying to knock out all the chain restaurants down like 3 miles down the road where this like shopping dining strip is near us. And this on Friday, we were trying to go this local place we like a lot, but we got all the way into Haines City, Florida, which surprise on a Friday night, but a lot of the city was without power due to the hurricane. And I completely didn't realize that could happen. So we had to turn around and go back towards our house. We ended up in one of these restaurants on this strip that I've been dreading because I knew eventually it's like, okay, we went to the Longhorn. We've gone to the Chili's many times because I love Chili's. The other week we tried the Red Robin, which I never thought we'd do, but we did it. But now we have to try the restaurant that, like, I don't want to go to. I don't like this restaurant. I don't want to do this. But it was time. It was time to give it a try. We've given pretty much every other restaurant on the Strip a try. And so we ended up at the Olive Garden on Friday night. And you know what I got to say about the Olive Garden? The Olive Garden is completely fine. I have no gripes about it. Despite my last name being DeRosa, I have no love or affinity for Italian people, Italian culture, Italian food. I think everything about Italy is the most overrated thing. The only thing that's cool about Italy is that if you look at a map, the nation of Italy is shaped kind of like a boot, and you can use that boot to kick yourself in the ass if you think that Italy's cool. Because Italians are weird. They're hairy, they're loud, they're obnoxious. A lot of them are from New York. They brag about like bread and like weird shit. They're fucking weird. They yell a lot. I don't like them. I'm not a fan of Italians. But because you technically, I think that's racist because I think Italians are a different race of people. They're not whatever it is I'm trying to say. I don't know. I'm not one of those people that's like, oh, Olive Garden, because I know like white American people love this shit so much because they have like so little like cultural reference from like other parts of the world. It's always like, oh, Olive Garden, that's not real authentic Italian food. No fucking shit. No shit. Olive Garden's not authentic Italian food. It's a fucking American chain restaurant that knows how to get fat suburban people's butts into seats, because sometimes it's not about authentic Italian food. It's just about an affordable, fun meal out with the family after a long week's work being a slave for a corporation. Can you calm down? I'm sorry if the eggplant parmesan's not like the way your Nonna used to make. Shut the fuck. I hate that stuff. I hate when like Italian Americans try to get cultural and they try to pretend they're in touch with their roots. Like, you got no roots. You're not in touch with nothing. Shut the fuck up, dude. It's fucking marinara sauce. Everybody knows what that is. Calm down. Anyway, now that I'm done insulting people who are of the same descent as myself, that's not why I hate Olive Garden. I hate Olive Garden because it's just, of all the chain restaurants out there, it's like, why are you going to go to the place that's just like pasta and breadsticks? Like, don't get me wrong, pasta's like the greatest shit, but I don't know, man. Like, I think about like the big chain restaurants. I'm like, you could go to a TGI Fridays where you can get ribs, you can get chicken, you can get steak, you can get a burger, you can get a salad, you can get whatever the fuck you want. You can get fried sticks of mozzarella. That's awesome. But you go to a place like Olive Garden, it's like, yeah, this pasta or this pasta or this pasta. It's like, I don't know. And pasta is one of those things where you always feel like you're getting ripped off, because it's like, I know how cheap this shit is. I know how fucking easy it is to make this stuff. Why am I paying $20 for a pasta dish right now? So it's like, that stuff's kind of like the reason why why historically I'm anti-Olive Garden. It's not because it's fat, greasy, slobby, diabetes-ridden American food. I love that shit. If anything, that's the only thing about Olive Garden I truly respect. But this past Friday, I found something about Olive Garden that I truly, truly, truly respect and admire quite a bit. So I've only eaten at Olive Garden maybe like 3 times in my life. It's this was my 3rd time in my life eating at Olive Garden. I've been very few times. I never actually went with my family. It's like only ever been with my current girlfriend. So that's weird. So I don't know what it is about her that we end up at Olive Garden, despite the fact that we both don't like it. But I vaguely remember growing up, they always had the advertisements on TV. Oh yeah, all you can eat pasta, endless pasta. You get a pasta, try this pasta, try that pasta. I remember that being a thing. I just assumed that doesn't exist in 2024. You can't get endless pasta. So imagine my surprise when I sit down at my table and there's a little menu board thing in the corner of the table that says, try our all-you-can-eat pasta, only $14. I'm like, wait, what the fuck? All-I-can-eat pasta for only $4? 1 and then 4? Okay, let's look at this. And so it's like you can pick your own pasta, noodle type, whatever. You can pick your sauce. You can pick your protein. It's $5 extra to add the protein, but still, for $19, all-you-can-eat pasta. You can meatballs, chicken, linguine, Alfredo, terracotta, minescoli, Mario, Luigi, like whatever, all the Italian things. You can just combine them all and make whatever pasta you want. So it's actually pretty simple. It's like pretty basic. It's like there's like 4 pasta noodle types. There's like 4 sauces, and then there's like 3 proteins, and you just mix and match. But I said, all right, challenge accepted. Let's do the all-you-can-eat pasta. So what they do, the way they do it is they try to fill you up. The first bowl of pasta you get is a full dinner portion, and then every plate of pasta you get after that, you get a small, like a kid's portion, basically. So I didn't realize that was how it works. So I was like, holy shit, are they just going to give me full dinner portions every time I order? No, they don't. the next rounds after the first plate. We're dealing with kitty sized portions. Don't get too worried, okay? Jesse's got this. So I told myself I can finish. I know I can polish at least 3 bowls of pasta, no problem. So first one, I get the what is it? The 5 cheese, the 5 cheese vodka sauce or whatever the fuck they have, and then the rigatoni, because rigatoni's the best noodle type, and then the chicken on top. I get chicken because I like chicken, and I polish it off pretty good. Again, it's fatty, gross, buttery, awful for you. American food. It's gonna make you die. I liked it. I thought it was good. Fine, whatever. Let's move on. So bowl 2, I'm like, all right, let's try angel hair noodles with this mushroom cream sauce and some Italian sausage. This bowl sucked. That Italian sausage was no good. But I finished it because I'm a man and I finish the things I start. And then I'm like, fuck, I said I was going to finish 3 bowls. But I am like stuffed to the brim after bowl 2. But I have a life insurance policy, so it's okay. So I order a 3rd bowl. Classic chicken Alfredo. Let's do it, because my girlfriend got she didn't get the all-you-can-eat pasta. She just got this, it's like a little fillet of steak with Alfredo pasta on the side, and she was bitching and moaning about how her pasta side was like really small, like she barely got any pasta. So I was like, all right, I'll just order the Alfredo pasta as one of my endless pastas, and then I'll be like, I'm full, can I get a box? And then we'll just take it to go, and there you go. Because she never finishes. Whenever we eat out, she never finishes. She'll eat like an appetizer, 3 bites of her entree, and then there's my doggy food for tonight, So we get the box, and I do the thing. I'm like, I'll try one more bowl of pasta, and I really thought I was gonna try, couldn't do it. So we had to end up taking the Alfredo to go. It worked out. She had her Alfredo for the next day. Server's like, that's the way to go. Always put the last bowl in a to-go box. He's a cool server. Shout out to him. He's like, that's the fucking plan. Get yourself some food for tomorrow. So that was cool. We asked the server, what is the maximum number of bowls you've ever seen someone consume? He said, I have a regular, comes in probably once every month or so, and he consistently polishes 7 bowls of pasta. I said, Mamma mia, show me a picture of this motherfucker. He said, I don't have pictures of him. Can you believe he doesn't have a picture of this man? If you met a man who could eat 7 bowls of pasta, you tell me your first instinct wouldn't be to whip out the iPhone 13 Pro in your pocket and take a picture? No? So we don't got a picture, but I know he exists. I know he must live around me because this Olive Garden's like 3 miles from my house, and this man comes here once a month, so I doubt he's flying in from Wisconsin just to eat 7 bowls of pasta. He probably passes 36 different Olive Garden locations to get to this one. No way. So there's a man living among my people, among my area. He drives the same roads I drive, and he can eat 7 bowls of pasta. I can only eat 3. I am a fraction of the man this man will ever be. No, I'm a fraction of the man he will ever. I'm a fraction. I'm a fraction. I'm something. I'm a fraction of a human. But that's it for what I've been eating. The pasta, it's fine. Olive Garden is completely fine, serviceable. I like chain restaurants. We're all good with that. I still think I lean a little bit more on the Buca de Beppo side, because it's just that restaurant is just absolutely insane. It's just a batshit crazy restaurant, and I appreciate that. It's got a little bit of Rainforest Cafe energy, whereas Olive Garden is, Olive Garden. Can I give you a little advice, Olive Garden? Can you dress yourself down a little bit? What the fuck is up with all the wine coolers throughout the restaurant? Like where we live, it's like everything's so new build where I live, because it's the part of like the greater Orlando area, not even, where it's like, it's developing. So like every time we get something, it's new, so like they're building these restaurants left and right. And the only reason I bring that up is to say, the Olive Garden near us it's new. The restaurant's like less than a year old. So this is like the latest and greatest model of the store that the company has to offer. So you're telling me if you're going to build an Olive Garden in 2023, 2024, this is what you make it look like? Really? It's a little upscale, considering that half your clientele shows up in Nike slides or Crocs. It's a little upscale for a chain restaurant. Let's calm down. Get rid of the wine, the fucking wine coolers on the walls and shit. Tone it back. You're selling $14 all-you-can-eat pasta. Just admit that half your clientele wants a Coke Zero and get on with it, okay? But that's it for what I've been eating. You guys, I'm getting back to Marvel Midnight Sun. That's the kind of thing I'm slowly working on. But the main game I played this weekend was Starfield Shattered Space. So I finished Shattered Space, played a little bit more of Starfield, and then deleted off my Xbox and said, all right, Sonic Generations X Shadow and Black Ops 6 are coming out in like a week. time to move on. So I finished up Shattered Space, and I really don't have much to say about it. I greatly agree with the comments from last week. I think Shattered Space opens up pretty good. Like, it starts off pretty good, and I think its final mission's actually pretty good as well. The consequences are kind of like nonsense, but it's cool. It's like cinematic and eventful and fun, that last mission. But pretty much everything in the middle is very, very, very run of the mill, very boring. It's not boring. Still not the word for it, because I did enjoy it, but the content that comprises Shattered Space feels like just another faction quest line, and it feels like content that should have just been included in the base game. It doesn't feel like a big expansion, a big reason to re-download this 86 gigabyte game, a big reason to come back after 12 months. It just feels like content that should have been there from the start, that people who are looking for more to do after they complete the game have the option of playing. And that's my gripe with it. It's not bad, but it's definitely not anything special. And the most impressive and special thing about this DLC, as others have written and said, is just the visuals. It's like the art style and everything, and the art direction. It's very Destiny inspired. It's very unique for Starfield. But aside from that, the story, the gameplay, the mission structure, what you do in this DLC, it's paint by numbers. It's like middle of the road Bethesda content. So it is disappointing. I would say at best it's a 7 out of 10. Realistically, 6 out of 10. I understand why people are disappointed with this DLC, and I concur. I think the base game impressed me way more than this DLC did. But that being said, as someone who just likes Starfield a lot, I enjoyed it. I'm glad I went back. I'm glad I played it. I had a good time. Did it give me the itch to stay a while and play more Starfield? Absolutely not. I'm all back into Marvel's Midnight Suns until Call of Duty Black Ops 6 and Shadow Sonic Generations comes out next week. I'm all up Marvel Midnight Suns asshole. But that's not even really true, to be completely honest, because this weekend I basically sacrificed 60 to 70% of my video game time, because there's just a lot. Like, I could have had the Logitech G Cloud, but I didn't want to. There's just a lot of baseball and hockey going on right now. Hockey just started. Baseball's just wrapping up. This is a very frustrating time, because historically, like, as a child, I didn't care about any of that. This time of year, all I would be doing is playing Call of Duty Zombies in anticipation of Halloween. But, like, it's so annoying, because the older I get, the more I appreciate watching sports. And so now I'm like, it's kind of like an important year for baseball. Or like, it's probably going to be New York versus New York. And even if it's not New York versus New York, it's going to be New York versus the Dodgers. And I like the Dodgers. So it's like, I'm kind of invested in baseball right now. So that's happening. And then on top of that, hockey just started, and my precious Arizona Coyotes are now the Utah Hockey Club, but I'm trying not to be a bitter baby about it. I'm trying to, like, make the most of it. So I came in with a good attitude. I was like, they're not the Coyotes. Their iconography, their mascot, their logo, their location, everything about this team is objectively worse than it was when they were in Arizona. But I'm still determined to support these guys. I like the players. I like the team. I enjoyed watching them last year. And then lo and behold, fucking Utah Hockey Club, former Arizona Coyotes, these guys are amazing. Like, the past few games have been like the most entertaining hockey I've watched pretty much all year. So that's great. I'm trying to watch baseball. I'm trying to watch hockey. Gotta get back to Marvel Midnight Suns, and I want to play it. But I finished Shattered Space. It was mid. But so many sports going on at the same time. So whoever created fall kind of fucking sucks. Doesn't it seem like life is a little disproportionately weighed? And I know, depending on your preferences, this can be different. Maybe you're someone who loves spring break, spring weather, football, because, you know, the Super Bowl is like February, so kind of end of winter, early spring, depending, you know, if you're in the Southeast, the end of February is basically just summer anyway. So I don't know. I guess it all depends on your preferences. But as I see it, the whole concept of the fall season is actually kind of fucked. It's like, couldn't we spread some of this shit out? Why is it that the fall season is like, all the best video games come out this time? The weather actually gets fucking good, so now's a good time to leave your house for once in your goddamn life. But there are so many good video games coming out that you should probably just stay inside and play those video games. Also, it's Halloween season, so it's the best fucking holiday of the year, and there's a bunch of fall activities. The pumpkin patches, corn mazes, haunted houses, whatever you have it, Halloween parties, if you got a social life going on, whatever the case may be, there's so many reasons to get out of the fucking house and go do something. And then on top of that, you got baseball is ending, so you're invested. Hockey's starting, so it's like, okay, now the good sports are coming to like these climactic moments where I'm engaged. It's like, what the fuck is this? And then after that, Thanksgiving, another holiday that's awesome. What the fuck is going on? Does this make sense to you that all the good things would happen within like a 3-month period? Like, oh yeah, here's everything. Good luck finding the fucking time. What about in the summer when it's sweltering hot? Nobody gives a shit about baseball because you're on game 3,000 of 9 million. No one cares. It's too hot to go outside. There are no video games being released in the summer. The only thing summer has going for it, water parks, and it's like the time of year when all the best movies come out. But even that's kind of not true because the fall time is also usually a pretty good time for movies as well. So like, what is that? And I feel like, I don't know. I just feel like it's always fall. It's like, oh, this album came out in the fall. This movie came out in the fall. This video game came out in the fall. Sports, haunted houses, good weather. I'm sure someone got an oil change in the fall and it made their car run better. Like that kind of stuff's happening all the time during the fall season. It's a little disproportionate. I'm a little pissed off about it. Personally, I think we got to talk to the weatherman, figure out what's going on here, get to the bottom of this. Everyone hates the winter. Everyone hates the summer. Everyone hates the spring because I have allergies in the springtime. But the fall time is so good and it has all the stuff happening at the exact same time. But you don't get more hours in a day. You don't get more energy. Your job still expects you to be there the same number of hours. So what the fuck gives? So stupid, dude. I don't know. It's like a movie that's only good during like the third act, The end of the second act, beginning of the third act is great, but the ending sucks, the beginning sucks, the middle sucks. It's like, what the fuck is this? Figure yourself out, Mother Nature. Please. Dear Mother Nature, make movies come out in the summer. Or make video games come out in the summer. Thank you. Bye. All right, guys, let's take a quick coffee break and hop into the news. All right, went to go grab a water, picked up a Gatorade. Don't know how the fuck I got a Gatorade. I don't buy this stuff, so it's good. It's fine. It's blue. I like blue drinks. All right, let's get into the news. Beginning with Phil Spencer caught with his pants down at the urinal. Have you heard about this, guys? No. Read that wrong. That's only if you read it upside down. Let's start out with all this news about Xbox, Android, streaming your games from your phone. Sounds better than a PlayStation 5. Ha ha ha. No, but so The Verge broke the big story. So we'll read from them first, get into the second part, and then talk about it all together. So from The Verge, this is Tom Warren. So the perspective might go I. It's one of those news sites where they do that first person perspective. What the fuck? Anyway, Microsoft is planning to support streaming of Xbox game libraries next month. Sources familiar with Microsoft's plans told The Verge that the company is getting ready to test the ability to stream games that you own that aren't part of your existing Game Pass library. As part of a long-running project known as Project Lapland, inside of Microsoft, the software giant has been readying its Xbox cloud gaming servers to be able to support streaming thousands of games. I'm told Microsoft will first test its new Xbox cloud gaming streaming capabilities with Xbox insiders in November before expanding it to other users. The Xbox cloud gaming expansion comes in the same month as Xbox is planning to enable game purchases on its mobile app for Android users in the US. Microsoft is also able to do this because of the court's ruling earlier last week that forces Google to stop requiring Google Play billing for apps in the Play Store on November 1st. More on that in a second. President of Xbox, Sarah Bond, revealed yesterday, or at the time this was written, that starting in November, players will be able to play and purchase Xbox games directly from the Xbox app on Android. Once Microsoft's work to enable a full game library on Xbox Cloud Gaming is complete, you'll be able to purchase an Xbox game on Android and immediately start streaming it to your device. Project xCloud was supposed to launch with game libraries in 2020, with game library streaming in 2020. Microsoft then announced it would support your game library on cloud in 2022, but it never launched that year. I understand that this work has been complicated by having to prepare key infrastructure for thousands of games instead of hundreds that currently exist on Game Pass. While thousands of games will soon be available through Game Pass or Xbox Cloud Gaming, I'm told that some publishers will hold certain games back due to licensing requirements and deals. More on that part about buying things for your Android device from the Xbox Store. So VGC relays that Xbox players with Android devices will soon be able to buy and play games directly from the Xbox app. Sarah Bond posts on Twitter, or X, referring to the court ruling with Google and Android, and in her tweet, she talks about Xbox users being able to buy and play Xbox games from Android. Quote, the court's ruling to open Google's mobile store in the US will allow more choice and flexibility. Our mission is to allow more players to play on more devices, so we are thrilled to share. Starting in November, players will be able to play and purchase Xbox games directly from the Xbox app on Android. It's not immediately clear whether games will be available for the Xbox app or if this feature will be extended beyond the US to players in other regions. Xbox has been talking for some time about launching a mobile app store, which we just talked about. Phil Spencer stated last year that Microsoft was already preparing for a date at which this could be legally possible. So they've known that this was coming. They've been preparing for it. But here we go. So this is basically happening now. So a couple things. If you have, so maybe not all, they haven't specified, but generally speaking, games that you own on Xbox that are not in Game Pass will be streamable on your Android device. So, for example, a game that is not on Game Pass that you may own. Easy. Laser Suit Larry, right? But silliness aside, right? Like a game like Resident Evil 7, right? You might be able to, you own Resident Evil 7, it's not in Game Pass, so you can't play it through Game Pass, but now because you own it, you should be able to stream it now on your Android device. Not only that, but they'll English, Jesse. They'll have the ability for you to go on probably the Xbox app, but maybe they'll make an Xbox storefront or Microsoft store or something for Android, and you'll basically be able to go onto this app, whether it's the Xbox app or something else, and purchase games. So you'll have the Xbox storefront there. So you're like, I want to play Sonic X Generations on my Android device. Great. Go to the Microsoft Store from your Android phone and download Sonic X Generations, or purchase it rather, not download it. And then instead of downloading it, you can just stream it to your Xbox device. You can probably download it to your Xbox console remotely, but you can also stream it to your Android device. So this is where we're getting. These are the dots that need to be connected. These are the blanks that have needed to be filled in to complete the streaming fantasy, right? It's awesome that I can get on my Logitech G Cloud and stream whatever from my Xbox to my Logitech G Cloud. It's awesome that I can stream whatever's in Game Pass that allows cloud streaming to my Logitech G Cloud. Or I can hop on my Xbox and say, fuck, I want to play Starfield, but I deleted that game last year when I beat it. I don't want to download it again. I don't have storage on my device. You know what? Let me just stream Starfield for this weekend because I don't want to download it again. Okay, that's awesome. But what sucks is you can't play any game you own. You can't go, I have the Spyro collection. You can't do that. It's not one of the games, right? So it's like, now that we're closing those gaps by not saying there are exceptions to the rule, but that's everything. By being able to purchase the games from your Android device and play them on your Android device and then play them on your cloud streaming handheld and then play them on your Xbox. This is truly how you connect it. So it's not this disjointed experience of, I can play these games on this device via cloud streaming, but not these ones because I bought these ones. I subscribe to these ones. This one I can play on this device or this device, but not this device because this device can only stream, but that device can play natively. And when you have all these ifs, ands, and buts, it disjoints this idea and this vision of being able to play any game, anywhere, whatever. It's all part of the Xbox vision. So to me, this is the stuff that gets me excited about this vision for what Xbox is becoming, a lot more than like, our games are also on PlayStation, go fuck yourself, because it's logical and reasonable to think that someone has an Android phone and then they have an Xbox and then they have a cloud streaming device or a Steam Deck or some kind of handheld. And now because of all these services and programs and ways of purchasing and engaging with games, they can play any of these games on any of these devices they have because this person has a PC, an Xbox, a handheld, and a phone, all for very different reasons. But regardless of those reasons, Xbox can meet them there on that device to play any game they want. That's cool. That's a lot cooler than, hey, here's a device that's just like the Xbox, but it's our competitor, and you can buy our games there if you're fucking stupid and want to do that now. It's like, all right, that's not really like the vision of Xbox. That's just like betraying the brand, really, is all that is. But this is like, okay, this is like meeting players where they're at and giving them more options and opportunity, like you always say. I know as PR as that statement is that Phil Spencer's always talking about. This is really cool. So I'm really excited about this stuff. It's awesome. Obviously, we're talking about just Android, not iPhone, Apple Store, and all that stuff because this lawsuit has been this ongoing lawsuit has been between. Been about Google and trying to open them up and keep them less monopolistic. So until there's some similar ruling for Apple and we're able to get around that, this is how it is for now. And this is usually the case with these kinds of things anyway. Apple always usually gets a little more leeway and kind of flies under the radar with these things. So hopefully we'll reach a point where Apple is forced to kind of open up a little bit too. But this is great news overall. I mean, we talked about it the other week, just the idea that like Xbox could put out an Xbox Marketplace app on Android, and you could download it, and then you wouldn't have to interface with the Google Play Store at all. You would just get all of your Microsoft movies and video games and different apps, and you could download them from this specific app store that's available for your Android device. And that's a really tantalizing and exciting option. So I really look forward to things like that. And this is a really great way to unify the whole Xbox ecosystem. So I'm hyped about this. Not only that, let's add this last piece into it. Microsoft has also announced Xbox cloud gaming support for Call of Duty Black Ops titles, or Call of Duty titles, including Black Ops 6, Modern Warfare 3, and Warzone. So all three of these games will be playable on cloud gaming for Game Pass Ultimate members beginning October 25th, the same day Black Ops 6 releases. So Black Ops 6 will be streamable the day it releases, which is fucking awesome. We didn't know about this. So this was a big question mark, actually. So it's cool to see that this is confirmed. It was previously confirmed Black Ops 6 would be the first day one Game Pass Call of Duty, while Modern Warfare 3 already became the first Call of Duty to ever join Game Pass. But this is the first time we're seeing games become available for streaming in the Call of Duty franchise, which is notable because part of what Xbox had to do to get this Activision deal over the finish line was relinquish the rights to publish these games for streaming purposes. So they had to actually sell that to Ubisoft, as you might remember. So Xbox is probably having to license their own games from Ubisoft in order to stream them from the cloud for Game Pass Ultimate subscribers. So, that's part of what you're paying for with your Ultimate subscription right there, is to help pay Ubisoft to allow Xbox to access their games via the cloud, because governments made this happen. But that's fine, I guess, whatever. The thing is, we just didn't know if this was going to be a delay in when we would be able to access these games, or which games we'd be able to access, or when. So this is exciting, despite the fact that they had to make that deal with Ubisoft, and Ubisoft has the streaming rights, and Xbox has to license that. It's not interrupting our ability as players to play Xbox or Black Ops 6 via streaming on day one. So if you're a Game Pass Ultimate subscriber, you can get the game included in your subscription, play it on your Xbox, play it on your PC, and you can stream it on your phone, your tablet, your Xbox, your PC, whatever. This is fucking great. That's a lot of value for your $20 a month Game Pass Ultimate subscription. I know people bitch about the price going up, but that kind of shit right there, that's that value. So again, really exciting. We're seeing this more and more with Activision games starting to come to Game Pass. It's all starting to come together. The value, the feature set that kind of unifies the whole experience that they were going for. Again, it's like you get all these things, and then the games with Avowed and Indiana Jones and Black Ops 6 and everything. It's like, man, if only they weren't putting all their fucking games on PlayStation, it'd be a really good time to be, in the Xbox ecosystem. But anyway, we can still enjoy all these things and without getting too beat up about the fact that this console brand's probably dying, but that's okay. I'm still enjoying it, at least for the time being, so I hope you are as well. And let's just do a quick wrap up then. So Game Pass update. These are games coming to and leaving the platform for the rest of the month. So on October 16th, South Park: The Fractured But Whole will come to cloud, console, and PC. And PC via Game Pass, and these are all from Xbox Wire here. It says Donut County will come to cloud, console, and PC on October 17th for Ultimate members, Standard members, and PC Game Pass. Mech Warrior 5 Clan comes to PC, Game Pass, and cloud, and for console, and it's a day one game. Again, another game I'd be interested in trying, but unfortunately, just too many fucking games. Black Ops 6, we just talked about it, October 21st or 25th, day one Game Pass game for Ultimate members and PC Game Pass. Also, Modern Warfare 3 comes to Game Pass Ultimate for streaming, as well as Warzone, which we just talked about. Ashen comes to cloud, console, and PC on October 29th. And then Dead Island 2. Now, this came to Game Pass for consoles earlier in the year, but now it comes to PC on October 31st. Great little get for Halloween. Very nice little timing there. Which is also not inconsequential because PlayStation Plus members just got Dead Island 2 as well, so you can see kind of how this works. It's interesting when that stuff happens, when something comes to Game Pass and then comes to PlayStation Plus around the same time. It just means these are the publishers and the games that are being shopped around to these streaming services, so that's kind of like what's on offer. But it's interesting nonetheless. And then StarCraft Remastered and StarCraft 2 Campaign Collection both come to PC on November 5th for Game Pass Ultimate and PC Game Pass members. Now, leaving October 31st. So at the end of the month, the following games will leave Game Pass, so play them while you got them. Frog Detective, Headbangers, Inculinata, I didn't know, Inculinata, whatever. Lonely Mountains Downhill, Mineko's Night Market. These games are all leaving cloud, console, and PC at the end of the month, so you could play them, but on Halloween night, you should probably be fucking drinking boo punch and eating candy and running around the neighborhood scaring the shit out of children. So do that instead. But guys, that's it for all of our news this week. Real quick, let's get into the important enough news stories. Stories important enough to make the podcast, but not important enough to warrant their own discussions. I try to say it so fast I end up not talking. Unfortunately, we got a layoff story. So Bandai Namco is reportedly reducing its workforce and canceling several games, including games featuring One Piece and Naruto licenses, as well as a contract project with Nintendo. According to Bloomberg, sorting familiar sources with the matter, the company is taking a traditionally Japanese approach to reducing staff and sending workers to rooms where they are given nothing to do, putting pressure on them to leave voluntarily. That's so fucking funny. It's sad, but it's so funny. They are to reduce staff. They are sending workers to rooms where they're given nothing to do, to put pressure on these people to leave voluntarily. So they've moved 200 workers to these rooms, leading to almost 100 resignations. I mean, this is just obviously this is sad. You know, they need to downsize. That sucks, and I hope these people are able to find great careers that are fulfilling and good for them. But I just love how in America it's like a company just one day wakes up and goes, "Oh shit, our stock's down 1%. Tell 400 people who are at risk for being homeless to go fucking kill themselves. Their jobs are gone, their benefits are dried up, and their kids' hopes and dreams of going to college are crushed. Fuck them." You know, that's the U.S. It's like, fuck it, land of the free, kill yourself. Businesses are people. And then in Japan, it's like, we need to downsize. All right, well, take this group of 100 people and put them in a room for 8 hours and tell them you have no work assignment. Just hang out here all day. We will pay you a full salary. Just dick around in this room for 8 hours. And the Japanese people are like, I'm not contributing to society. I'm not doing anything. I'm not being a valuable member of my country. I gotta go do something. Let me go find a new job. I gotta go put myself to work. I need to apply myself. Dude, if you told 100 American workers, yo, hang out in this break room for the next week and just do nothing, we're gonna pay you. And then you're like, they're all gonna quit. They're gonna hate this. You're gonna go there on like day 2 and you're gonna open that door and all those employees are gonna be in there fucking doom scrolling on TikTok like, and they're just fucking eating potato chips and scrolling on TikTok. These people will love that shit. Are you kidding me? And they'd be like, yo, it would have the opposite effect. They'd be like, bro, you got to come work at my job. Look at what I do every day. And people be busting down the door. Bandai Namco, please hire me. I'm American. I don't want to do shit. Dude, I just love the cultural difference. It's so funny. But obviously the situation itself being just, of course, a little sad. It's hard because these are people's careers and livelihood. But it's just hard not to read this and be like, oh my God, they're doing what now? It's like, what the? We got to move on because I'm not trying to be a dick. All right, Metaphor ReFantazio. We already talked about this. It sold 1 million copies in its first day on sale, which is insane. Their last game, Persona 5, only sold 500,000 copies during its initial month in Japan, and then when it released worldwide, it took a month for it to reach 1.5 million. So obviously this game is selling even better than Persona 5 at this rate. Next up, Microsoft's planning to launch a new, more expensive Xbox wireless headset this month, according to data miner Bill Kuhn, who we've talked about on the podcast. His long track record of being accurate says that there's an Xbox wireless headset refresh that will hit Europe on October 22nd and the US in November on the 5th. Writing to Deal Labs, the site claimed that the headset will be priced at $110 US, which is $10 more than the current wireless headset they offer, which released in 2021. That I really enjoy. I like the headset a lot. It looks like stores aren't restocking it, so it seems like this is all but confirmed that they're going to replace it with this new version. So be interested to see what that's going to be. All they'd say is that it's reportedly black in color, so it will be a black headset. There you go. Next up, the original version of Age of Empires 3 has been removed from sale, with multiplayer mode being taken offline at the end of the month. A message from the Steam's page says the Definitive Edition Remaster states that the original version is no longer available to buy, and that as of October 30th, they're taking it offline so you can play the remastered version. The original was made by Ensemble Studios back in 2005 for PC. These are the guys that made Halo Wars. This is one of the games they made shortly before Halo Wars. And yeah, that's sad, but the other version of it's still there. I don't love that, but it's not the end of the world, but I don't love that. Just for posterity's sake. Next up, Football Manager 2025 has been delayed from its November 26th release date to March of next year. And finally, Microsoft has settled an antitrust lawsuit that was brought on by a group of players over the Activision Blizzard deal that said that it was a monopolistic practice. Basically the state of California said no, they're allowed. So the case was dismissed. So that's over. There's an update. I guess that's more of an update than a small news story, but whatever. Guys, that's it for all the news this week. It is time to get into the best and last section of the podcast. The comments, shoutouts, write-ins, whatever. YouTube.com, Xbox On Podcast. Click on the latest episode. YouTube.com, Xbox On Podcast. Click on the latest episode. Leave a comment. Say something nice. Say something mean. Say something a little confusing like a lot of you fucking people have been doing lately where I'm like, I don't even know if this is a real person. Is this just one guy trolling me with 1 million accounts? I still think we're getting some comments like that. I don't fucking know. Anyway, feel free to write whatever you want. It's entertaining, so keep them coming. And then, of course, I always ask if you're on iTunes or podcast services that allow you to rate and review podcasts, please, oh please, 5-star reviews. No review or a 5-star review. That's all I ask. Do not do a 4-star or lower review. You will hurt my feelings. Then I'll find where you live, and I will Michael Myers the fuck out of you. And here we go. 12 write-ins. What the fuck? A lot of write-ins this week. Good. Thank you. Starting us off, let's talk about... we got a hello here. Hi, Jesse. This is Happy Mario 64. Hi, Jesse. I'm from the UK. I listen to your podcast on Spotify while driving to work. Much appreciated. That is the most just straightforward and kind comment we've gotten in a long time. It's just so inoffensive. It's not all weird and over the top. Although I think your profile picture is beans on toast. Is that correct? Is that what I'm seeing? Happy Mario 64. Thank you for writing in. Just such a calm, tame comment. Hope you're doing well over there in the UK. Enjoy all your cruises from the Southampton port, of course. I'd like to go on a cruise. I very much would like to go on a cruise right now. Have a great week. Thank you for writing in. Thank you for listening to the show. I appreciate you. I always say the comments about like this podcast entertains me or I listen to it while I drive to work. That one like means the most to me because my whole life is just commuting all the fucking times. All I fucking do is sit in a car and drive. So, just when I get those comments, I'm like, hey, all I do is look for good podcasts to keep me busy while I'm going to and from work. So when someone's like, oh yeah, I listen to your podcast on my way to work, I'm like, hey, that's crazy. That's what I do, but like to good podcasts. So it really means a lot. It's a huge compliment and very much is appreciated. All right, a lot of you guys wrote in about Halo. No surprise there based on the subject matter of last week's podcast. So let's get into a handful of Halo comments. Cargo Runner writes in and says, great show. Love the Halo chat. Love the idea of Halo Studios doing a Flood spin-off game as a starter project on Unreal 5. Gives them more scope to be creative. I would like them to reboot the story, not just remake Combat Evolved note for note. That way, they can play out the series of games and spin-offs, or they can plan out with a strong, high-quality narrative. They could also keep in mind a possible TV show or movie. I am more hopeful and excited for Halo than I've been in years. I like the fact that they have new leadership that's willing to make big changes to get better games. I actually agree with you. I think they should reboot Halo as well. I think the story, what they've done with the story is just so incomprehensible and ridiculous and unforgivable that, yeah, just fucking reboot it. Who gives a shit? Most people are just going to pay attention to Halos 1 through 3 anyway, so who cares, right? So even though I liked where we were going, I liked Halo 5, doesn't matter. At this point, let's just reboot it, get a clean slate, get everyone on the same page. Doesn't matter. Like, dude, can you imagine how much better off Star Wars would be if they just rebooted it? Can you imagine? Can you imagine if they rebooted Star Wars and Jar Jar Binks wasn't a character? One can dream. Tim R. writes in and says, my biggest fear with Halo's switch to Unreal Engine is that it won't look like Halo anymore. But it's a non-issue if the next one doesn't have a split-screen co-op either, since I won't buy it. I wonder if there's a push for online co-op since incentivizes a paid subscription. Yeah, I don't know, man. At this point, I don't trust anything they say because they after Halo 5, they promised we'd get split screen and then did split screen and then canceled it and took it away. So I don't know, man. But I have the same concern of you. It's that. It's like, is this going to look and feel like Halo or not? And I just have a hard time, especially with what we saw, those screenshots, that video. I'm like, oh, this doesn't look like anything like Halo to me. This looks like a couple college kids with access to Unreal Engine 5 dicking around and recreating Halo in Unreal. But in any case, we'll have to wait and see. Listen, despite all my criticisms of Halo, which honestly weren't much until Halo Infinite, I believe in this team. What's left of them or what they'll reform into. Halo Infinite, for all its many faults, was a very fun game. The campaign was a blast. The multiplayer was pretty good. A little sweaty, but pretty good. So, in terms of gameplay, at the very least, these guys have every time knocked it out of the park with making games that are really fun to play. Whether you think it's what Halo should be, whether you think they nailed this or that aspect, there's no denying they make these games that are really fun to play. And so, as long as we're going to get another fun Halo game, I mean, that's better than nothing, right? You just give up on the idea of it being like a cohesive, well-put-together universe and just enjoy every game for what it is, and you can still get a lot of fun out of it. But yeah, hopefully this is a huge wipe-the-slate-clean moment, and they can somehow pull off all the impossible tasks, right? Mr. Mal writes in and says, hate to admit it, I can be a bit of a graphics whore, so I'm excited to see what Halo looks like running in Unreal Engine 5. Also, I know you don't like the idea of Halo getting a reboot, but I think it may be necessary if we want to generate interest back into the franchise. Well, I don't think it's a terrible idea. I just would really like to see them finish what they started, It's like, I don't know, it's like, imagine if you're like super into mukbangs, if like that's your thing. It's like you go home from work and you go on YouTube and you're just like, oh, I want to watch a mukbang, and your favorite mukbang YouTuber is like, oh man, remember last episode where I ate that whole tub of ice cream? You're like, yeah, that was awesome. He's like, yeah, I remember the episode after that where I ate that whole fucking that whole fucking chicken pot pie in one sitting. You're like, yeah, that was great. All right, well, in this episode, I'm going to eat a pizza, and I'm going to give up after 4 slices, and then you're going to have to watch this box of half a pizza, and it's going to drive you fucking nuts because you came here to watch me finish where I started, and I'm going to be a little bitch. I'm going to quit. What I'm going to do is I'm going to eat 4 pieces of pizza, and then I'm going to eat a calzone, and I'm going to say, well, yeah, this calzone is the rest of the pizza because look at it. It's Italian pizza pocket. It's got the cheese and the sauce inside the crust, and you're going to say, no, that's not the rest of the pizza. That's the rest of the pizza. Finish the pizza. But no, he went for the calzone. And you see, Halo Infinite is like a calzone. It tastes like Halo, but you look at that thing and you go, that's not Halo. That's not the rest of Halo 5. Halo 5 was a beautiful pepperoni pizza. And yeah, it ended after 4 or 6 slices, and there's 8 slices in that pie, but don't worry, Halo Infinite will give you the rest of your pizza pie. But then Halo Infinite comes in like a fucking calzone, like a fucking jabroni from New York. Guy is Italian American. Oh, I don't eat at Olive Garden. That's not real Italian food. My grandma makes the best eggplant parmesan. Shut the fuck up, Tony Cabaroni. Back up. I came here to watch a man eat a whole ass pizza. And you're trying to sell me a glorified Italian, a European. You know what a calzone is? You know what a calzone truly is? It's a European Hot Pocket. And so what I say to Halo Infinite, and I say the idea of not finishing what you started is, go back to Europe. Sorry, Happy Mario. Go back to, although I know a lot of Brits don't consider, a lot of people from the UK don't consider themselves European. But with all due respect, you got to understand, Americans do not differentiate between people from the UK and people from Europe. You're all the fucking same. It's kind of like how I'm Mexican because I'm from North America. It's because it's all more or less the same continent, all that good shit. I can say racist shit. I'm Mexican. Anyway, yeah, I don't hate the idea of them rebooting it. I think there is no perfect solution at this point with Halo, but I do think that maybe is the cleanest, safest route to take. Yeah. I just felt like it feels extra messy because Halo Infinite looks like a reboot, and they refer to it as a spiritual reboot, and so now they have to reboot from that reboot. It's like, I don't know, it's like if you rebooted the 2016 Ghostbusters with the all-female cast. It's like, it's like we had the original Ghostbusters, then we have the 2016 one with all the females that was controversial for some reason. I don't know. I didn't see the movie. And then we rebooted that one again. It's like, what are we doing, man? And then they kind of did. They kind of went back to the old one, but with new staff. They Star Wars The Force Awakened the Ghostbusters series, didn't they? They just said, hey, now Paul Rudd is a Ghostbuster. And Paul Rudd said, I'm handsome and your mom thinks I'm hot. And he's right, because my mom probably does think he's handsome, and I think he's handsome. He is handsome. All right. What's that about this being a short podcast? Here's David Agil wrote in and says, thanks to Melissa Boone, I'm giving up on Halo. So I looked up Melissa Boone. She is the chief of staff of Xbox Studios. I'm gonna just go on a limb here and say you don't like Melissa Boone because her LinkedIn profile has an LGBT flag, and because she is a woman of color, as they say. I love that term, woman of color, colored woman, because she's a minority woman who it represents diversity, and she used to be like some diversity role at Microsoft before she was the chief of staff for Halo Studios. Listen, man, I'm gonna let you in a little secret. Everyone you ever loved is gay. So if you hate Halo because of Melissa Boone, joke's on you, boy. No, I don't know. This is cringe. I'm not gonna judge. I'm not gonna judge Halo's future because the chief of staff is outspokenly a supporter of the LG. I'm actually blanking. I'm not trying to be funny. The pride community. You know what I fucking mean. God damn it. But anyway, I don't know. That seems a little. It seems a little cringy, right? I don't know. It just seems kind of shallow to write off a whole game because you think the chief of staff is has some agendas. I don't know, dude. David, I'm saying this. I'm not saying this as like you need to agree with me or you need to adopt my social outlook on things. I'm saying this to you purely as one person to another person, because I just listen, man. Not a good look. I'm just gonna say it. Not a good look. I'm so tired of it. I got. Can't we talk about something that fucking matters? Can you believe? You know, speaking of Gatorade, I saw a thing on Threads today that was like, which era of Gatorade was your era of Gatorade? You know, it shows like how the bottle has evolved from the 60s all the way up to today. And I totally fucking forgot that when I was a kid, it showed the 2004 bottle. When I was a kid, Gatorade had these like sippy lids. Like the cap was like sippy. Like you twisted it and then you could sip out of it like a bottle. But they were like wide and they were like long and wide. God, I wish I could describe it better. You know what I'm fucking talking about. Someone who's roughly my age right now is like, holy shit, you're right, Jesse. It wasn't like you remove the cap and drink out of the bottle. It's like you twist the cap to pop up the sippy part. And then it was like this wide duck lip looking fucking thing. And you would suck on it. But this is going to sound weird. But like it felt really satisfying on your mouth to drink out of those Gatorade bottles. And I saw that and I was like, wait, what the fuck? Gatorade did look like that when I was a kid. Why the fuck did we move away from that? That was such a sensory, like a satisfying sensory experience to drink from that bottle of Gatorade. Why did we ever move away from that? What the fuck is wrong with... Anyway, Melissa Boone is one of those, predictably California, go, pride community, Black Lives Matter. Who gives a shit? Is she a good chief of staff? Is the new Halo game gonna be good? That's all I fucking care. I don't care. Dude, I know people who fucking like ketchup, and I gotta live among these people. I go out on the roads every day and risk my fucking life getting from work to home to Disney to the grocery store to wherever the fuck I'm going. And I'm surrounded by motherfuckers who have crazy ass thoughts in their brain. Like, if I put ketchup on my french fries, it will taste good. There are crazy people in this world. Can you calm down? Maybe think people are more than this single aspect of themselves? Yeah. Is it a little cringy when people make their whole identity something superficial like that? Or something that's like kind of personal like that? Yeah, it is a little cringy. It's a little weird. My identity is not, I'm Jesse and I'm white. I'm cis. I like girls. Yeah. That's not my identity, because I'm a little more interesting than that, I guess. Not to pat myself on the back. But is it way worse to then be like, I'm going to write off the new Halo game because someone who works at this studio supports gay people? It's like, that's fucking weird. You gonna tell me that gay is wrong or something? You gotta tell me that penises on penises are wrong? David, don't you have a penis? What's wrong with you? You should be ashamed of your penis. Anyway, Cronky writes in with a couple of them here. Okay, some So what? Well, I pasted these backwards because of the order I wanted to read it in. But you said one last thing about Halo. What if a third-person mode is testing the waters for an over-the-shoulder ODST horror game in the vein of Dead Space? Don't get us fucking excited, Cronky. You know we all want that. Don't do that. Just kidding. Let's be honest. It's probably because they want to make Halo a platform like Fortnite is, so people can make whatever game they want in it, just like how Fortnite is full of games that are developed within it, just like Roblox. Yeah, probably more that latter one. They probably saw Master Chief in Fortnite because Master Chief is in Fortnite, and I know because I spent $20 on it and then played 1 minute of Fortnite. And they were probably just like, yeah, we should make Halo like that, because if there's one thing I will fault 343/Halo Studios for, is that they sometimes follow the trend a little more than carve their own path. So I wouldn't be surprised if they trend chased and tried to do it too little too late, like Halo is like Fortnite now. But I don't know, man. I do want that third person over the shoulder ODST horror Dead Space. We all want that. That's the game I feel like every fucking Halo fan has been. Give us a game where you play as ODST and you fight the Flood and it's a third person survival horror game. Everyone wants it. Everyone fucking wants it. What are we doing? 343/Halo Game Studios /Melissa Boone, the fucking woke ass princess. What are we doing? You don't have to make this game. Go find someone else who will, because there are so many people that want. Just like how Ubisoft gave us the Assassin's Creed Japan game because everyone wanted it. This is one of those ones. It's like, this is, I'm like half being facetious because it's like, I'm always like, team, make what you want to make. Don't make what people tell you to make. But like, this is some low hanging fruit. Everyone wants this fucking game. It's been talked about for so many. I feel like people have been rumoring about this horror game that's ODST in third person since I was like in middle school. Like, when are we going to stop teasing the public and make this happen? Everyone wants this game. But if I find out one gay person worked on it, I will boycott it, because I'm not homophobic or anything, but that's just wrong. It's just so much woke politics. Do you know the Flood are actually a metaphor for AIDS? That's so woke. Anyway, Cronky also says, I really, 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 really hope that at least one of the 32 Halo games in development at Halo Studios will be a new Halo Wars game. I know it isn't, but honestly, if you don't shut this idea down, life is better. Seriously though, I hope this makes a chance. I hope this marks a chance to be excited about Halo again. I love the franchise, and while I actually liked Infinite once I got over being mad about the dismissal of Halo 5, the overwhelming negativity surrounding the game just killed my desire to touch Halo for the last few years. I just want to be able to play games again and have a good time. I think I'm going to power through the Master Chief Collection again and pretend that I'm not an adult for a bit. That's a great idea. That's what we should all do. We should all just power through Master Chief and pretend we're not adults anymore. Yeah, I don't know. That comment doesn't inspire me. It just kind of makes me sad. I don't know why. I would like another Halo Wars, but for real, like, let's do that ODST horror game already. All right, let's move away from Halo for a little bit. Sam Frito writes in and says, PlayStation on. I don't want to get weird, but hearing you rail on Sony for 20 minutes a week, I joked about, should we make a PlayStation podcast? Because some guy wrote in and says, having a PlayStation podcast is like working at GameStop in 2024. Why would you do that? You should do a PlayStation podcast. Telling me I should change my interests and hobbies. Sam Frito says, PlayStation on. I don't want to get weird, but hearing you rail Sony for a solid 20 minutes, yet acknowledge their former brilliance, would be satisfying for a week or two. The alternate reality Xbox On, where we take apart and detract from how great a Microsoft console, its game dev teams, and leadership are. Can 2024 get any brighter? That's funny, because it's like what I do with Xbox On in PlayStation, but flipped around. I like that. It's funny, Sam Frito. You should. I actually like this. This is a good April Fool's. If Xbox On ever lands on like on April 1st, we should absolutely. I say we should do this. Like, you guys are going to make the podcast, but I should do this. I won't do it, but I should do it. Yeah. You said, commenters are like bagels. You got to cut them in half and cheese them and throw out the ones with mold. Seriously, hope you survived Hurricane Milton. Thanks for your efforts. You are a stallion. Let me brush you. You can brush me anytime, Sam Frito. I do not shave. I do not groom. That's not true. Yeah, thanks, man. We got through the hurricane just fine over here, thankfully. God damn, thank God we did not lose power. I was really prepared to lose power for like 2 or 3 days, and we didn't lose power, so I am fucking happy as can be about that. Yeah, but you're right. Yeah, commenters are like bagels. I just want to split them down the fucking middle and have my way with them. But yeah, thank you for writing in, Sam Frito. Hope you have a great week. thank you all so far. We got a couple more here, so let's get through them. Let's get through them like it's an obligation and a chore, not an honor and a privilege. Forgot this one last week. So Ariana Jones wrote in last week. Don't know why I didn't put this at the top of the show since I forgot to read it last week. Should have probably started with it. But Ariana writes in and says, hey, and this is one that was like, are you a real person? But I think you are. Thank you for writing in. Thank you in advance. Hey, I'm a big fan of your podcast. You're really unique and entertaining. Not like other podcasts where it's just boring conversations that make me feel like I'm in math class. I just love your podcast. My biggest regret is looking you up because my weird ass always wants to know what someone looks like when I get hooked on a podcast, on something. I almost said podcast, but you said something. And it never fails. People never look like what they sound like. When I went on your Twitter, linked from your YouTube page, when I listened to the podcast, I couldn't stop laughing. You look like Dilbert and Mop Bucket. All jokes aside, what's your gamer tag? I just know from listening to you that you're definitely not a sweat and play games like a normal person. Yeah, what is my gamer tag? My gamer tag was second best 04 for like a million years, and now my gamer tag is stalling for time while I pull that up. Yeah, I don't take offense to this. I don't know why I look like Dilbert, okay? My gamer tag is yesterday, but instead of being spelled yesterday, like the word yesterday, it's YAASTERDAY, like yesterday, because there's a joke my girlfriend made on my Steam account, so I kept it on my X. I gotta figure that out. I don't know what I'm gonna do with that. They updated the Xbox app. It looks good. Anyway, yeah, I gotta change that. I think I'm gonna make a Cold War Cobra, or I'm gonna do some tribute to the Arizona Coyotes. I don't know. I'm still working on a new gamer tag. I'm gonna change mine, but let me know if you guys have any ideas for what I should make my gamer tag. Probably won't use them, but I'll take your ideas and we'll laugh about them on the podcast. I don't know. But yeah, I'm not. Yeah, I have the same problem, or it's not really a problem. I have the same. Well, wait. First of all, I don't look like Dilbert at all. Like the comic strip. Like I thought that's what this was. How the fuck do I look like Dilbert? People always tell me, or at least they did when I had more hair. I'm not really bald. It's just my hair's like shorter and thinner than it used to be. But people used to always tell me when I was younger and my hair was more lush that I looked like the guy from The Hobbit that was in Lost. He plays Charlie in Lost. And that drove me fucking crazy because, you look so fucking Irish and I hate it. But yeah, I mean, they're right. I do kind of look like him. I don't know. Do I look like Dilbert? That's fine. But yeah, I have that all the time too, where it's like I listen to a podcast, I'm like, I know what this guy sounds like, and then I know what this guy looks like based on his voice, and then you see him, and you're just like, what the fuck? That's how I felt. I used to listen to a podcast called Podcast The Ride back in like 2017, 18, and it was it's still around. It's really popular. It's a podcast about these three California guys who are very California, and they talk about Disney theme parks and stuff. And I used to really enjoy that podcast, and I remember. That's always like my favorite example because I remember looking them up to see what they looked like. There's three guys on that podcast, and all three of them look like the furthest thing from what I imagined in my head. And I'm pretty sure that's like 60% of why I stopped listening to that podcast. But that's fine. Think what you want. Have whatever opinion you want. I look like what I look like. I don't think I look like Dilbert. Kidding me? Does Dilbert wear a Hot Wheels t-shirt almost every day? I didn't fucking think so. Anyway, Ariana Jones, thank you for writing in. Thank you for the support. Hopefully you're still listening. Hopefully you didn't go, he forgot to read my comment. Fuck this guy. I'm going to go listen to the Xbox Off podcast because I'm going to rebel against Jesse for not reading my comment. Ariana, please find in your heart to forgive me. Have a great week, and let's move on. Mr. Maug writes in and says, this is about the MetaQuest 3. Since this is an Xbox podcast, I feel it's the right place to mention that I'm really tempted to get a MetaQuest 3 to play Batman Arkham Shadow. It looks very enticing, and from the bit I've tried on the MetaQuest 3 at Best Buy, the display seems to be sharper than I expected for a standalone VR headset. Yeah, man, I was actually tempted by this thing as well. That Batman Arkham Shadow game looks pretty good. The problem is I bought a MetaQuest 2, and I love it, but VR is... I have the same experience with VR that I feel like everyone has, where it's like, you use it a couple times, you're like, this thing is fucking amazing. VR is the future. Oh my god, I love this. And then after a couple of weeks of having it, you're just like, I really don't want to like put that thing on my face and like not see the world around me and like, I'll just sit on the couch and play Xbox instead. And then you just kind of, so like I want to get a MetaQuest 3 because it does look like such a huge improvement over the 2, but like I know I'm not going to use it enough to justify it. So I totally feel your pain, man. But yeah, that Batman Arkham Shadow game looks great. It's too bad that it's a VR game because I would just take another Batman game. It'd be great. But I didn't forget my promise I made last year around the holidays where I said I'm going to save Batman Arkham Origins for this holiday season because it's a holiday game after I beat the other 3 Batman Arkham games last holiday season. So I'll play that game later on this year at the end of the year, probably after Indiana Jones. But yeah, good luck to you. Let me know what you do. If you get the MetaQuest 3, let us know how it is, man. Have a good week. And let's wrap up. Got 3 more comments. Quantum Break. Cody Pavon writes in. I always say Pavon, but it's Cody Pavon. One time you told me I said it right, and that made me insecure that I'm always saying it wrong now. So I wish you never said I said it right, because then I could just say it wrong every week and just not care. But now I care. Cody, this is what you fucking did to me. But you said, hey, Jesse, totally off topic from anything in the podcast this week, but I'm finally sitting down and giving Quantum Break a go. And wow, I don't know why it took me so long. Loving it so far. Also, P.S. I'm loving hockey being back too. Go Knights, go. Yeah, Knights are cool. I'm cool with Knights. I'm cool. I'm cool. We're cool. We're cool in Vegas. Here's my weird thing about hockey. First of all, Quantum Break's fucking amazing. I've said it a million times on this podcast, so I won't get into it now. But if you've never played Quantum Break, play Quantum Break. Quantum Break is like one of the 3 games on Xbox where it's like, I'm not going to tell you why you need to play this game. You just need to play this game. And if you play this game and you walk away not thinking it was fantastic, let me know. Because you're a fucking liar. It's fantastic. You'll love it. Trust me, you will love it. It's great. Dude, I don't know what it is about hockey. So I think it's because when I was a kid, I liked hockey a lot. I maybe said this last year, but when I was a kid, I really liked hockey. We had a team growing up in Georgia, the Atlanta Thrashers. I was a big Thrashers fan. I had a jersey. I remember I'd wear it all the fucking time. I always used to wear two shirts I used to always wear as a kid. Rampage, which was the local skate park. I wore it because I thought BMX was cool. And then my Atlanta Thrashers jersey. I used to always fucking wear that stupid jersey. And then when I was like in 8th grade or something, they fucking disappear. They went all the way to fucking Winnipeg. So we're gone. We don't got no fucking hockey anymore in Georgia. So I was like, fuck it. I wear skinny jeans and go to Warped Tour. I don't really care about sports. So I was like, whatever. Hockey and baseball are like the only sports as a kid I was ever like, yeah, that's kind of cool. And then I like last year, I was just like, you know what? I'm going to give hockey another try because I'm stupid and I need more things to waste my time. And then I was like, fuck, I actually like really like hockey again. And it's so funny because it's like, well, I don't have a team anymore because Atlanta lost their team. And usually I'm a Tampa sports fan. I love the Rays. I'm not a big football fan, but I think the Bucks are cool. I like Pirates. Pirates is a cool theme. So I'm like, yeah, Bucks are my team. Rays are definitely my baseball team. I love Tampa sports. Lightning's so fucking boring, dude. I always pick my favorite sports teams based on like mascots and logos. So I went with the Arizona Coyotes because they look so cool. Such a fucking good iconography and font. Any sports team from the 90s, amazing, dude. Diamondbacks, Coyotes, Tampa Bay Rays. Dude, if you're a professional sports team formed in the mid to late 90s, you're instantly cool. They just have the best fucking logos. And shout out to the NHL because all their new teams have good logos. Kraken, Golden Knights, great teams, great logos, great mascots, Sharks, whatever. Anyway, so that's why I have high hopes that Utah might have a cool mascot when they pick one. But anyway, yeah, I don't know what it is. It's like so now because I hate the Northeast United States, and that's where all the big hockey teams are in America, or in the U.S. rather. I'm like, all right, I'm just gonna go all West Coast for hockey. So my whole thing is it's like Arizona, Utah, Colorado, Anaheim Ducks, of course, because Disney literally formed that team and their logo was created by Disney. It's literally a Disney sports team. So it's like even the LA Kings, whatever. I just like West Coast hockey teams. But the problem with that is because I live on the East Coast, all the games like the fucking Utah plays the Anaheim Ducks as I'm recording this in like 30 minutes at 10 o'clock at night. I'm like, fuck that, dude. I'll be asleep before they even drop the puck, you know? So it's like, it sucks. But yeah, good for you. Go Knights. Go have your fun. I guess that's like the de facto hockey team now for people in Phoenix since they lost their team. But anyway, Cody, have a great week. Be well, be good. And then Cronky writes in and says, I've lived next to a Dairy Queen my whole life, but I just had it for the first time. Pretty solid. It's one of those weird fast food places that tastes slightly higher quality than other fast food. I will say agree and disagree with you, Cronky. I don't think Dairy Queen tastes like slightly higher quality fast food at all. I think it tastes like garbage quality fast food, but I love Dairy Queen. I think Dairy Queen is one of those fast food restaurants. It's like Sonic or Culver's. It's one of those restaurants where it's like, why is everyone always flipping their fucking shit about Chick-fil-A when it's like, Dairy Queen's kind of better, dude. Sonic's kind of better. But agree, dude. Dairy Queen, super underrated fast food. Love it. Glad you liked it. And then let's wrap up with Tim R. I wrote Tim, not the rapist. And that's not an off-color joke. It's because that one guy last week, his name was like John Rapist or something like that. John the Rapist. I don't know if it was supposed to be pronounced like rapist or something like that. I don't, not that that's a word. I don't fucking know. But Tim R writes in response to that guy because he was leaving some really ridiculous comments. And he says, as a fan of fun, I genuinely look forward to eventually playing Midnight Suns more than Spider-Man 2. Both look amazing. Well, I thought about it more after last week's podcast, Tim R, and I was like, they're both Marvel, but what's the fucking point of comparing them? They're nothing alike. One of them's an open world third-person action game, it's Spider-Man, and one of them's a fucking linear role-playing card-based battling game. Like, what the RPG? Like, what the fuck? These games are nothing alike. Why are we comparing? Just because they're both Marvel doesn't mean there's nothing to compare. They're different. Yeah, maybe they'll both attract Marvel fans in general because of the IP, but just because you like Spider-Man doesn't mean you like Midnight Suns, and just because you like Midnight Suns doesn't mean you like Spider-Man. Like, that's so stupid. But yeah, they're both great games, I'm sure. I mean, I played Spider-Man 1 and Miles Morales, so I can't imagine Spider-Man 2 is anything less than great. And Marvel Midnight Suns fucking awesome. So yeah, they're both great. You can like it all. And you also said, I think John the Rapist, or whatever his name was, listened to your full episode last week because your monologuing is just so captivating. That's a big part of why I'm such a fan. Well, thank you. That's a very nice comment. I don't know why I included this. It just seems like I'm trying to pat myself on the back by including this comment, but I thank you nonetheless, Tim R. Hopefully John the you-know-what doesn't come back. And then you said, I'm depressed. And then finally you said, I'm depressed to inform you. The term used last week, glazing, is simping but grosser. The way my generation used something similar was if you were really attracted to someone or something, you would glaze a knuckle. Hopefully that's enough context because I don't feel like giving more. Unfortunately, it's more than enough context, and now I'm going to go fucking burn my eyeballs. So Tim R, I didn't realize this until just now, but unfortunately, we're going to end the comments on that note. That's the vision everyone has to have in their head, and now we all know what glazing is. So with that said, yeah. Thank you all for listening. Thank you all for writing in. Have a great week. Be well. Be safe. Enjoy some hockey. Enjoy some fall weather. Enjoy some haunted houses, some Halloween candy, some Xbox. Maybe play that Hot Wheels Monster Truck Stunt Mayhem from Game Mill Entertainment. I don't know. But whatever you choose to do, be well and power your dreams.
If you can.